Welcome to The Voice of Retail. I'm your host, Michael LeBlanc. This podcast is brought to you in conjunction with Retail Council of Canada. It was already happening before the pandemic, and snap! COVID accelerated its adoption almost overnight. Mastering social media is more than another tool in the marketing toolkit in retail. It's table stakes. On this episode of The Voice of Retail, I'm joined by Senior Paid Media Specialist at Groupe Dynamite, Michael Regina, and Snap's Retail Vertical Lead, Matt Bolivar, who take us through both the evolution of social media in retail and dive deep into the strategy and tactics behind using Snap's powerful consumer engagement tools to reach and interact with their 9 million Canadian active users.
The celebration cycle is essentially what we call that full shopping journey on Snapchat, and what we're trying to do is help partners like Groupe Dynamite and many other retailers meet Snapchatters in that early inspiration phase all the way down to that eventual purchase, and then sharing that out with the community, because that's a very unique piece of Snapchat's platform, being a communication tool and a camera at the end of the day.
Interesting. Michael, let's talk about Snap and Snapchat specifically in your social media strategy. Let's listen in now. Matt, Michael, welcome to the Voice of Retail podcast. How are you both doing today? Michael, you're in the beautiful city of Montreal, correct?
Correct. I'm on the western part of the island, so enjoying the suburbs as best I can.
All right. And Matt, I hear you're a Habs fan, so I don't mean to call you out in public, but I don't think you live in Montreal. Where are we finding you today?
I told you that in confidence. I definitely cheered for them during the playoffs last year after my lovely Toronto team got beaten out by them very graciously. But yes, in Toronto and loving it, that's for sure.
All right. That was the sequence. All right, we'll make sure the listeners understand. All right, once the Leafs were eliminated, it was all Habs. All right, well, listen, both of you, welcome to the podcast. Let's jump in by having you tell us a little bit about yourselves and your respective organization, or what you do for your respective organizations. Matt, let's start with you.
For sure. Well, thank you, Michael. Thanks for having both of us, and certainly thank you for having me today. Excited to be here, and certainly an exciting time at Snap as well. So, like you said, my name is Matt. I lead the retail business here for Snapchat in Canada. Been here for the better part of 4 years, and owning retail and leading retail for the better part of the last 3. What that kind of includes is essentially looking after our omni-channel big box retailers, as well as apparel retailers as well. Companies like Groupe Dynamite, like we have here today, and many others, as we try to help them achieve their business objectives as well as media objectives that they set out before us. And both Michael and Groupe Dynamite have been great partners of Snap over the last few years. So I'm really excited to have both of us on today to highlight the amazing partnership that we've built together.
Yeah, fantastic. Michael, tell us about yourself. Looks like steeped in social media and all things digital marketing, but tell us more.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, thank you, Michael, for having me. Yes, I've been doing this, I would say, before there was even a name and a term for digital marketing or digital promotion, since the late 90s, essentially building websites and marketing and promotion. Really got into the paid sphere of things as the platforms matured and businesses started to, take digital marketing a lot more seriously. I've been only at Groupe Dynamite for about a year now. But had plenty of experiences working on the agency side, working with large and small agencies across Canada, and really loving the retail sphere that I'm in right now.
Oh, fantastic. Matt, I've had the pleasure of talking to the other Matt McGowan, the GM of Snap, last year on the podcast. But for the benefit of those maybe didn't hear that full-length feature interview, or many would know of Snap but may not know of it, scope and scale, and just tell me all about Snap.
Well, I'm sure you heard from the other Matt that first and foremost, Snap, for those that might not know, we filed as a camera company, and we continue to build our core proficiency and platform around that. Really, we believe that reinventing the camera represents the greatest opportunity to improve how we live and how we communicate with each other as humans and as people. And really, we feel that we do that by helping people express themselves, helping them live in the moment, learn more about the world around them, and have fun together across many different utilities that are available within the platform, from our Snap map that exists on the left-hand side of your action bar, through our publisher and original content that's on Discover, and even Spotlight, which is a new platform for Snap, where Snapchatters can create and watch the most popular snaps and pieces of creative that their community posts towards that side of the platform. And what we've learned over the now 10 years of Snapchat being a platform that people use every day is that really the community has bought in and is really enjoying what we're building in terms of utility. They're still visiting 30 times a day on the platform every single day, and 30 communicate
30 times a day.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
30. Now, how many Canadians are subscribed? What would you describe Snap aficionados? What's the size of your, let's say, addressable audience for folks like Michael?
Yeah, that's a great question. Globally, where Snap is still continuing to grow, we're at 306 million daily active users. That's people visiting the service every single day. And in Canada specifically, we're over 9 million monthly Snapchatters here. And what might be interesting to the listeners today as well is that 75% of Snapchat's audience, or 75% of Canada's population, 13 to 34, is on Snapchat today. And over half of the audience here in Canada is actually above the age of 25. So we're seeing that gradual aging up, if you will, of the audience.
And I imagine you saw, like many platforms, an acceleration of some kind over the COVID era. There's a lot of use of social media. How did it impact your business? How did it, or actually the engagement with your platform? Did you guys also come up with new features? Were they already in the works? Just tell me a little bit about, the past 18 months in your whirlwind of a life.
Yeah, absolutely. I think similar to probably the rest of social and many other digital platforms that benefited from tailwinds of people having more time on their hands, we certainly saw increases in engagement across the platform. Namely, we saw increases in people reaching out to their friends and family through things like group chats, group calling features, using lenses on group calls, and even spending more time with AR as well as part of their day. So we've definitely seen some growth in some of the outer pieces of Snapchat that we've built years ahead or years before, sorry. And I would say to other areas that we've started to see pick up as the world starts to reopen is things like the Snap map as well. Other features now, while maybe not being so prevalent in day to day over the course of like lockdown, let's say, are starting to really pick up pace that we've been investing in for years.
Michael, certainly my audience would know of Groupe Dynamite as a retailer, but as is often the case, they may not know the full scope and scale and all the details around the business. Tell us more about Groupe Dynamite, the banners, what you do, who your audiences are, and a little bit more of the business for the audience.
Absolutely. So Groupe Dynamite consists of two core banners, Dynamite and Garage. Combined, we have 300 retail locations across North America. And really, it splits right down the middle. So our Garage banner is focused on the young adult, the 18s to 24s, heading to college, heading to university, perhaps starting a new job, and caters to that mindset. Dynamite caters to a slightly older demographic, women between 25 and 35, so definitely more going to work, going out, going to weddings, these types of different activities. So we really cater to both across North America. We're actually starting international shipping as well. So this is pretty interesting. We've opened up the UK and France and Australia for international shipping. Right. Really what Groupe Dynamite does is try to cater to that mindset of women who really want to be independent, want to have a mindset of their own, and really want to be creative. So that's really the core essence of the banners: to be yourself, be you, be proud of who you are. And we really strive to make sure we get that messaging across. And
so just from an e-commerce perspective, both sites are e-commerce enabled. Do they ship You've mentioned North America a couple of times. Is it North American business now? Yeah, as you said, deciding to ship internationally. And for your stores, I guess the predominance of those would be in shopping malls, but there are some standalone locations, right?
We do have some standalone locations. We have a new pop-up actually in Toronto that's going to be ready early next month. So this is in downtown Toronto, but they are predominantly in malls in North America. E-com does cater to, coast to coast to coast for North America. And like I mentioned, just introduced international shipping as well. So we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that's an exciting journey. Let's broaden the lens, so to speak. Let's talk about your social media strategy at a high level. When I visit your site, lots of logos up there. It looks like you would have a very fulsome social media strategy. Of course, given your audience of women from 18 to 30 or whatever that is, that's not a surprise. But just step back a little bit and talk about what role social media plays. And where I'm trying to I often talk to marketers now, and they're starting to think about a transition. I don't know, maybe this was the case for Dynamite. Initially, social media kind of started as customer service, and then it became, hey, let's get direct response involved, and then it became content. Just talk about how social media fits broadly into the marketing strategy for you guys.
You're absolutely right. So historically, the Dynamite brands have been exactly that same journey, from customer service to direct response to sales. And now we're starting, it's been more than a year now that we're starting to cater more to creating content that tells a story, being able to drive the essence of whatever story that is into whatever catalog or drops that we're selling at the present moment, to make sure that there's actually a human sort of interaction with that. So it's much less, if at all, sale. It's much more of telling a story, getting people inspired, getting people to really want to engage with us more than just once or twice purchase.
And I guess that's going to inform now and in the future the people you hire, because I talk to brands and they think about, and many would say that they're doubling down their investment in social media, and they're starting to think about things like, do I get an individual dedicated per platform, and what kind of people do I hire? Do I hire storytellers, like writers, like people? Are you having some of those same thoughts and discussions within your four walls?
Yes, essentially, to put it down, yes. I've always been driven by numbers and data. Where I'm seeing what's happening more and more is that storytelling aspect, and getting into the gist of what type of story we want to tell, how we're going to tell it, what's it going to look like, in tandem with the day-to-day black and white of the numbers. Yeah. So yes, I am seeing that creativity sort of seep into what I'm doing on a daily basis, and making sure that everything we do it makes sense to the customer. It makes sense for us as a brand to move forward with.
And I guess it makes sense for the platform. So Matt, talk about that a bit. You're at the fulcrum of the focal point of hearing from a lot of retail's use of your platform. And each platform's got its own idiosyncratic elements to it, and some things work better in some programs or some platforms. Talk about that, what you're hearing, from a use perspective from retailers and from consumers, and how you're thinking about, your platform, about Snap in the post-COVID customer journey, which has probably been changed in ways we don't quite yet understand. But what are you hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're definitely seeing a huge shift over the last couple of years. I think a lot of this has to do with the lockdown in place, and maybe consumer behaviors having to adapt, along with not being able to shop in store. I think a focus of Snaps specifically has been really helping meet the consumer, so the Snapchatter, to where they're at, essentially, to help them shop when and where they would want to, whether that's through an organic channel, via a brand profile, or by seeing some of the amazing stories that Groupe Dynamite might be putting together to talk about a drop that's coming up, through paid mediums. We focused on building tools that can just help drive that efficiency and lower the barrier between consideration to the actual purchase itself. When it comes to actual new adoptions in behavior, something very interesting that we're seeing from Snapchatters is a growth in AR, and AR being a commerce tool. Since the pandemic, we've heard from Snapchatters that they're actually 3 times more likely to use AR try on things like shoes, jackets, pants, etc., using the camera. And inverse, and along with that, we've heard from our retail partners that have tapped into these types of experiences. They're seeing 20% decreases in return rates as well. Speaking to the confidence, not only in AR's capabilities, but also just the confidence that they feel in a product when seeing it through the camera that they have in their pocket itself. But I would say the celebration cycle is essentially what we call that full shopping journey on Snapchat. And what we're trying to do is help, partners like Groupe Dynamite and many other retailers meet Snapchatters in that early inspiration phase all the way down to that eventual purchase, and then sharing that out with the community, because that's a very unique piece of Snapchat's platform, being a communication tool and a camera at the end of the day.
Interesting. Michael, let's talk about Snap and Snapchat specifically in your social media strategy. I imagine a whiteboard virtual or a reel where you've got, here's the social media strategy, and let's talk about Snap. What do you do different or unique or custom, or do you approach it differently? Unpack that a little bit for us. Matt's talking about some of the unique features. Are those the things you take advantage of it? Why do you use Snap, and what do you do, if anything, different with it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So, like I said, I'm deep into the data on a regular basis, and we're looking at, our customers, and we're looking at her as when we split it out between 2 banners. We're looking at her, as a human being, and saying, okay, what is she doing on a daily basis? Where is she spending a lot of her time? Where is she spending a lot of her downtime, her second screen time? When she's on the go, of course, COVID notwithstanding. And so we took a look at Snap as really something that we know our garage banner would be really heavily influenced by. And our Dynamite banner as well has been a really, really great surprise that when we do we mirror some activities on Dynamite that we've done on Garage, we see some great responses as well. But we've done things like story ads or collection ads, fairly standard stuff. But what we've managed to do is to drive a lot of this newness towards the customer with story ads, where we tell them, "Hey, we have a new drop. This is the great new thing. This is how it looks. Why don't you come check us out?" This type of thing, and we find that newness is really what drives customers to swipe and take a look at the ad and then visit us and potentially purchase. So that's really where we look at, okay, where can we maximize the eyeballs in the right place at the right time? Be disruptive, but not too disruptive. Make sure that we're in the flow of what her day to day is, and we know she spends a lot of time on Snap, so that's where we leverage that.
Man, Michael's doing a great job of kind of laying out the strategy. Talk to us and the listeners, and not all of whom may have the same audience or the same be in the same category, but let's assume they're retailers. What's the playbook here?
In terms of best practices on Snap and how retailers broadly can see success, I think maybe they may not be in the same space as Groupe Dynamite, but I think Groupe Dynamite is a shining example of a lot of what we would say would be best practices to approaching the platform. But I would say, thinking about vertical video, like Michael is saying, around storytelling and telling either the brand story or the story behind a particular drop, or creating excitement, or even just educating on certain features and benefits of a product. The Snapchat audience in particular finds vertical video more personalized to them, and they also find it more immersive. And research that we've done also finds that the Snapchat generation picks up on things like brand awareness and messaging in video creative a lot faster than some of the older generations, maybe.
Now, when you're saying vertical video, are you meaning literally vertical video? Is that a format? Talk about that feature a bit more.
Absolutely. So vertical video being the way that A, the video is cut, but B, it is how it is also consumed. So understanding that Snapchat itself is a vertical platform, in that when you hold your phone and you visit the platform itself, that's the best and main way that you engage with it. Consume it, exactly. So keeping... So now the best way to approach the audience would be taking that into account and natively having that video cut in a way that is that fits the platform best, essentially.
Now you talk about natively, kind of a marketing term. So, for those less steeped in native versus paid, are there paid promotional opportunities that can be leveraged in your product, and where and how do you envision directly, if you do, connecting commerce with your platform?
Yes, absolutely. There are, from a paid perspective, that's definitely where Michael, Groupe Dynamite, and myself partner best together and partner really well right now. We have many different formats, from content to camera. Collection ads and story ads are two of the formats that Groupe Dynamite has seen success with. We have a few more, like forced view video commercials, as well as snap ads that can drive results up and down the funnel for a business. And then we also have paid promotions as well available within the camera, creating essentially post photo or post video overlays. Those are our filter products. And then augmented reality is at the core of the business. Talking about that a little bit earlier, you can have those kind of sponsored opportunities there as well. And from a native side, you're definitely seeing an evolution in that area. Right now, you can have a Shopify feed connected to your brand's profile that can live on the platform itself, and likely to be more innovations coming in that area soon too.
All right, Michael, big question, tough question. Imagine a world where I took Snap away from you. Can't have it. It's not yours. It's gone. How would you react? How would it impact your overall strategy? It's unique. How would you? Could you refigure? Could you claim it in a different way, or how do you think about that?
Yeah, it's definitely unique, and it's really one of the benchmarks and one of the. What am I trying to say? One of the pillars of our marketing tools, right? So I think we would definitely be at a loss if we weren't able to leverage Snap or just cease to exist. Mainly because of the sheer volume. Like Matt was saying, lots of activations, lots of views per day, lots of clicking. So that activation, and especially a lot of the work we do organically as well with our influencers, with our team, our organic team as well. So something that we don't put money behind, but it's just to generate content, to generate buzz, and to really engage with the audience. If all of that went away, I think we definitely would be on a less firmer ground in terms of our digital marketing, and we'd be poor for it.
There's a good testament for the product. Let me chase one thing up, pull on one thread you mentioned there, influencers. So tell me about how influencers connect into your social media and into Snap. So is that a fulsome part? Is that an ancillary? Like, I guess I would see it in my mind as A, you create content, B, you work with influencers who create content with or for or in conjunction, and then 3, there's paid and promotional elements. Is that the way you think of it as well? These kind of the troika of 3 opportunities.
Yeah, but you're missing one. You're missing the surprise element. And when I say surprise, I mean our organic team regularly monitors our hashtags, our mentions, any availability, anything that we can do to track the brand on the platform. And there are occasions where just general consumers who are fans of our product will tag us, will mention us, and this will go quote unquote viral for whatever reason it is. And so those are very happy surprises. Right. When I get an email saying, hey, we saw a spike, I think it's from Snap. Can you find out, please? And I go in the dig and we find it. So that's the 4th element that you didn't mention. But all those 4 really come together to drive a really great brand opportunity where we're not just pushing sale, buy. We're pushing really sort of a community, a place for people to come and explore and share their love of the product, but also to hear from some of these influencers. And we have open calls for influencers. People can sign up and register and become one. And it's great fun for everyone involved. I think it's a great opportunity, and it's working wonderful on the platform.
Well, it's the new world of marketing. We all imagined in our marketing roles the ability to do this, but sometimes we just lack the proper platform. So last words to you, Matt. As folks have been listening to this, and I can put all kinds of links into the show notes, where would listeners go if they know less and want to learn more? after this about Snap and case studies, tips, tricks, tools, and how do they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. Thanks, Michael. If anybody listening today is looking to learn more about Snap, the easiest way to find out more is to go to forbusiness.snapchat.com. There you'll find a ton of case study material, success stories, more links to our ad formats, and it'll give you a pretty good digest on what Snapchat is doing as of late in the paid media and advertising world. And then if you would like to explore some options with you, I know the holiday season right now is on top of all of our minds. You can reach out to myself at mattbolivar@snap.com. That's MattBolivar @snap.com. And we're excited to hear from you. And thank you again, Michael, for letting us take the time to connect with you today.
Yeah, no, it was a great discussion, and I'll put all those links into the show notes, so if folks can just go into the show notes and click on them and get in touch. Michael, Matt, thanks so much for joining me on The Voice of Retail. It's a great discussion, very timely. It's certainly, I have a lot of questions when I talk to retail leaders from across Canada. They all say the same thing: more, not less, into social media, more measurement though, more strategy, and it sounds like the both of you are doing a fantastic job. So you really put on a masterclass here. So thank you both for taking the time out of your day to chat with me on The Voice of Retail.
That's great. Thanks very much, Michael.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of The Voice of Retail. Be sure and follow the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you enjoy podcasts so you don't miss out on the latest episodes, industry news, and insights. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving a rating review, as it really helps us grow so that we continue to get amazing guests onto the show. I'm your host, Michael LeBlanc, president of LeBlanc Company Inc. And if you're looking for more content or want to chat, follow me on LinkedIn or visit my website at meleblanc.co. Until next time, stay safe, have a great week.